Alright, good morning you all. I've been challenged to do 10 days live on Facebook, and I'm on my way to Byron Bay, and so I thought I would do my Facebook Live on the way there. This morning I'm going to cover a little bit of why I've started the Confident Man Club. If y'all don't know, I've started going into a new venture here, helping men become who they were meant to be. And besides my own story, and it's my passion, I want to share some statistics with you of the reason why. So, did you know? Let's see, we'll go through. And please, if you have any questions, please put them in. I would love to hear what questions you may have. I also want to let you know that I'm getting a lot of feedback of women that I'm inviting to my group of why I'm inviting them. One of the primary reasons is that men don't ask for help, and we tend to isolate ourselves a lot. But when I talk to women about what I'm doing, they are constantly going, oh, I've got to get my husband to talk to you, I've got to get my brother to talk to you, I've got to get my friend to talk to you, my son needs to talk to you. And so it seems that most of the business, the only way I can grow the business is talking to women and helping and asking them to encourage their men to get help or to become better and faster and stronger. So here's the stats on men and why we need help. Now, that's not to exclude women. Both genders have their own, both genders and society as combined have our own issues and our own hurdles. But because I'm just specializing in men, that's what I'm going to talk about this morning. So men are 99.9% of combat deaths. We know that. Did you know that men are 94% of work-related deaths? And that's because men tend to take the most dangerous jobs. 80% of suicides are men. They're 10 times more likely to kill themselves after a separation or a divorce. And most of the time the depression is due to the loss of their children. If you look at the statistics in divorce and separation, it's quite sad. Men don't have... hey, good morning, Irene. Good to see you. Thank you for joining my first real Facebook Live. Let me know if you've got any questions. And I enjoyed our chat last night, and hope you're enjoying the heat here up in Brisbane. Okay, get back to it. It's mostly because of loss of their children, and sadly enough, men, even when the primary caregiver, don't get much custody. And it's really devastating to them. 66% of divorce is initiated by men's spouse, and they receive child custody 84% of the time. 30% of men are paying child support for children who are not their own children, which is quite interesting. I couldn't believe it was that high. 43% of rape victims are men. 48% of domestic violence victims are men, which is interesting. And that's probably underreported, because most men aren't going to report that they've been a victim of violence from their spouse. I mean, I was, and I didn't. And most of the time, other men that I've spoken with, or even police officers, they won't even file it on behalf of the man, because they basically just go, hey, suck it up. And I saw one film even where the police told the man, is like, well, if she even hurts herself hurting you, we'll arrest you for domestic violence. So it's interesting, the stigma around that. And sadly for men, it's really, they caught in a tough situation, and we have no rights. We're basically presumed guilty until proven innocent. And the domestic violence orders against men, I don't know if you all know the process much, but I'm going to give you, so I was just served with a domestic violence order, and I want to just tell you a little bit about why. So my ex-wife found a new partner and moved in with my children, and they moved to someplace else, and I asked who this person was and where they were moving to, and my ex-partner didn't think I had a right to know who was living with my children or where they were moving to. And as a father, I care for my children. I believe that the people that are around my children the most, particularly the ones living with them, have a big influence on their lives, and I want to know who's influencing them. So I I called the family law relations, and they referred me over to Relationships Australia, and to initiate a mediation process through the Family Relations Center. And so I went to my ex-spouse and I asked her if she wanted to initiate mediation, and she said yes, but then didn't do anything about it. And so I initiated the mediation so it's mediation, and it's basically some single interviews and then counseling together, and then meet up and mediate through a counselor. And because I initiated mediation and counseling through Relationships Australia, she filed a domestic violence order because I was doing that. And now I have to go to court. And I gotta tell you, thankfully, I have a friend in my life who's been through this before and learned a lot of lessons, represented himself in a lot of the domestic violence orders against him, and so he's given me good advice, and I should be able to take care of it rather quickly. And his story is interesting. He was the primary caregiver for his children, and he and his wife separated. And at one point, when the children were supposed to come and stay with him, the kids came in, and his wife at the time broke into where he was living and started abusing him verbally, and then had her sister take the children. And then she filed a domestic violence order on him because he yelled back at her when she broke into his place. And he hasn't been able to spend any time outside of a visitation center with his children because of it for almost over 2 years. And he was the primary caregiver, and it really just wreaked havoc on his life. So the domestic violence orders, the system is broken there. I think that there should be at least some basis for the orders, not just, basically they can just be handed out like candy. It's based on nothing, based on just somebody's word, on a story they can make up, and for reasons that I don't see they're valid. Anyways, I get off of that one. I'll move on to the next one. Testosterone levels in men. Testosterone levels have dropped off 59% in the past 50 years. You see men in their 20s balding. Before I started getting healthy and and cleaning my system out of the chemicals the synthetic chemicals that my brain was doing in. I wish I had tested my testosterone levels back then. I'm sure they were pretty low. I was overweight. I was aging rather quickly. My muscle density wasn't all that great, and even when I did try to work out, I couldn't really drop the weight, and I couldn't get fit. I mean, one time I hired a personal trainer for 3 months and really worked it hard, and nothing changed for me. So once I started to change my body chemistry and kind of do things that naturally boosted my testosterone, my body started to change automatically. And I've actually got some hair starting to grow back, and it's quite easy now to keep weight off and to put muscle on without much effort. So, please, men and women out there, if your men are consuming any soy, they gotta get off of it. The soy product, soy milk is a estrogen booster. It'll give men man boobs. And here's the thing though too. If you didn't know, a lot of canned foods, a lot of bottled water, they have like a soy lining, and they're basically feminizing men and dropping their testosterone levels, and it affects the way they think and their health. It's just sad. So if you've got any, and look it up. There's lots of videos out there on the detrimental effects of soy on men. It is horrible. It's horrible. All right, what's the next one? 84% of the homeless are men. And men receive 3 times longer prison sentences than women for the same crime, which is interesting. All right. And that's just some of the stats I have on men. Hey Val, thank you for watching. Yes, I'm keeping to the speed limit. I've got cruise control on. So I'm gonna go. Oh, one interesting thing is, which is always an interesting subject you gotta understand. I think the gender war is a fallacy. It is a fallacy. It's made up, and it's culture getting men and women to, fight against each other for no reason. We are one human race, regardless of gender and creed, and color or ethnicity, and we need to work together to make things better. We shouldn't be pitted against each other. Okay. So one thing, there's always an interesting stat that gets thrown out about men make more than women, and that is true. But we need to understand we have different roles. Here's an interesting one that the research shows. Research shows that, we'll say we'll have a man and a woman, and the man works, and the woman stays home and takes care of the kids, of course. So the man's going to make more money. But I got to tell you, being the workload, women at home are the home executive. I don't think they're housewives, or the home executive, and they've got a lot tougher job than many of us men do, escaping to our jobs. Anyways, okay, so, and then let's say the other scenario is you have a woman working and a man staying home and taking care of the kids. Did you know the research shows that the family that has the man staying home and the woman working, on average, that family has more income? On average, the woman that is out working is making more money than it would be if it was the other way around, which I thought was interesting. And here's the thing. So men are making more than women, and women, I think, will attest to this. Women control 88% of all purchases. So who has, and in this, I think this fake power struggle, which I think is very made up, is that, so who's got the power? The person making the money or the person spending the money? I don't know. Hey Adam, thank you for watching. Hey Sharon, thank you for commenting. Thanks. It's getting a little gray, but on the mo. All right, so we're gonna go to the next stats I've got for you, and it is about fatherlessness. So 63% of youth suicides are with fatherless homes. 90% of homeless children have fatherless homes. That's 32 times the average. 85% of children with behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes. That's 20 times the average. 80% of rapists come from fatherless homes. That's 14 times the average. 71% of school dropouts come from fatherless homes. That's 9 times the average. Let's see, 75% of youth drug addictions come from fatherless homes. That's 10 times the average. And 85% of youth in prison come from fatherless homes, and that's 20 times the average. Good morning, Adam. Thank you. And so, I think it's very important. I think that trying to do everything, I think men and women need to do everything they can to work on the relationship breakdowns or any conflicts they have to keep their families together. Because when they're not together, it's hugely detrimental to the children. Now, I'm not saying that they should stay in a toxic relationship, but they need to work on that relationship. Okay, so that's some of the stats. I did my first real big Facebook Live, and I'm gonna take up this challenge and do one every day for the next 10 days. If you have any suggestions on what I should do it on, please let me know. And I'm gonna just review again. I've started the Confident Man Club, the CMC, to help men become the men they were meant to be by helping them build their bodies, by helping them have a positive mindset, and by helping them find their why and their passion. And the reason I'm doing this is because I have a passion for it, I have a heart for it, but because I was there, and over the past 6 years I've had tremendous ups in regaining good health and changing my mindset, which prepared me for probably one of the lowest lows of my life when my wife left me, and I didn't want a divorce, but she did, and I had poured my life into that relationship and to my children, and losing that is, sometimes they say it's even worse than losing a spouse in death because they're still alive than with someone else, and you have to, there's no finality to that. So please, and I've gotten the question a lot because I'm inviting women to come into the club on the meetup and the meetup group and the Facebook group. And the reason I do is because men don't ask for help, and it's mostly any of the people that are the men that are coming into the club and that have shown interest, is mainly because the women in their lives are recommending they come and talk to me. So please be sure to join the Confident Man Facebook group. That's where I'll be providing videos and tips and short little interviews and Facebook Lives daily. And then we're going to start, and then I'm starting to hold face-to-face events. There's going to be usually 2 free events in Brisbane, Australia here a month, and then I'm going to be holding half-day workshops and then some 2-day retreats. And then I'll also be doing some mentoring and some coaching. But for those that are not in Brisbane, Australia, I'm also going to be offering quite a few programs online. There's going to be some mastermind groups online, particularly for leadership. I get this a lot. A lot of people go, well, why do I need to learn leadership if I'm not a leader? Well, the first person you have to lead is yourself. So I'm part of the John Maxwell team. I'm going to be holding mastermind groups online, teaching leadership, and that really helped me lead myself. And you need to learn to lead before you become a leader. So I'm going to be doing online mastermind groups so that anyone can join online. That's basically consists of everyone. We all read the same book, and we usually do a couple of chapters a week. And then I ask questions and we discuss online what we've learned, or any stories, or how we've applied it in our lives. It just helps because I love to read, but sometimes it just doesn't stick if I don't apply it in my life. And when I'm meeting online and talking to other people about it and hearing their stories, it just puts it into your mind and helps you practice it too. And there's also always a little bit of homework there too. So the John Maxwell ones, one will be free. Some of the other ones will be paid because I am licensed to be able to charge for those, and I need to fund this project and this business. But then we're going to also do some other ones that I'm not licensed to do, but we can still do them. I just can't charge for them. And some of the other authors we're going to do is probably Simon Sinek, I love. Start with Why. To help some of the entrepreneurs out there, I'm going to be covering some of Zig Ziglar's stuff on sales. Don Millard's Build Your Story brand for marketing. Mel Robbins' The 5-Second Rule, which is fantastic. That it goes into the neuroscience of taking action and overcoming your fears. There's just so much reading that I've done. A lot of the other stuff we're going to be doing is on building relationship building and learning communication. I know with my marriage breakdown, for the last year and a half of it, I studied a lot of relationship books and helped in how to improve my communication, and learning what men want and how they think, and learning what women want and how they think. And although it didn't work for me because it takes both sides, I learned a lot, and men are doing it, and including myself, wrong, really wrong, and we need to learn how to communicate a lot better. What else? So please, men and women out there, join the groups so that you can stay informed. What else was there? And although I'm just going to start in Brisbane and on the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast, I hope to then bring it a little further out. Also, if you know any other, because there's not much out there for men, if you know any other thought leaders in the space, please let me know about them, or if you know them. I would love to connect with other men and women that are working in this space and helping men become better and healthier. And yeah, that's it. any questions? Hopefully, as I build my audience, I'm thinking about doing. I didn't know I learned this yesterday because I've been doing Francesca Moy's training on how to build a tribe and build a business online with Facebook and with Meetup, to get people to attend and to build your profile online so that you can reach out to the people that you want to help, because that seems to be really hard, particularly for men. Men tend to isolate themselves. But yesterday I learned on this Facebook Live that now you can actually, anyone watching, you can include them on the Facebook Live and then do like a live chat back and forth, which I thought is awesome. So I'm going to implement those. And all right, I'm starting to hit some traffic. You all make it a fantastic day. If you're on the other side of the world, a night, but Australia, we're just having a beautiful day. It's supposed to be hot and sunny. I am going to go hit the beach for a little bit, and then I am going to have some business coaching myself and lunch with friends, and then back to Brisbane later on tonight, and then a week full of implementing everything I learned on and implementing to get the Confident Man Club off the ground and help men become the men they're being. So please start sharing and join the Confident Man Club Facebook group and the Confident Man Club Brisbane on Meetup. Even if you're not living in the area, the more people I get join, the more visibility it'll get, and it'll come in the search. So please, I need your help in building this business. I think it's so important to help men out there. All right, peace be with you. Love you all. Bye.